All right. Good morning. Welcome to Washington Live, powered by KCTC. I'm your host, Diana Rich, and I'm joined in the studio with our producer, Alex.
Good to be here.
How are you?
It's good to have you back in the studio.
I know it's been a long time. I don't even remember how long. I had to Google how to get here. So no, I'm just kidding. Just to walk around the block. So all right, I'm excited to be here. We have some upcoming events in Washington we'd like to let you know about. This Friday, we have the Sticks and Strings at Washington Public Library on March 1st from noon to 1. Join them for knitting, crocheting, sewing, etc. They say it's a relaxing hour. That sounds very stressful to me, though, because I don't know how to do any of those things.
Yeah, I can't do any of that, so it would be very stressful.
Yeah, very stressful. But if you enjoy those things, it sounds like it would be a nice time. On Friday, there's the Washington KC Fish Fry at the KC Hall from 5:30 to 7. So make sure to stop by there and get some dinner. Friday, there's a trivia event, trivia night benefiting Hospice of Washington County at the Washington County Fairgrounds. That's March 1st at 6:30, ends around 9. You can call the Hospice of Washington County to learn more about that. I've done that a few times. It is pretty fun, but it is good if you could pre-register to make sure that they have room for another team. And then this Sunday, we have the Southeast Iowa Band at the Washington Area Performing Arts and Events Center. It's happening at 3:30, and that's who we have guests on the show today. So that's a great segue into talking to you guys. So we have Bob McConnell from the Southeast Iowa Band, and then we have Doug McBride representing the Washington Area Performing Arts and Events Center. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. I got kind of the look from you like I was saying it wrong. So I was just
No, you're good.
Okay.
You're good.
Okay, sounds good. You made me nervous for a minute. So I guess first, can you tell me a little bit about Tell me a little bit about yourself and the group that you're representing today.
Well, I have lived in Washington since 1986. I was in education for 40 years. And after I retired, I got involved with this group, the Washington Performing Arts Group. And I found it to be very enlightening and important for the community. One of the things that Washington is known for is its arts community events. And so the group has sort of morphed from the Washington Concert Association and the group that I was in, which was part of the Enhance Iowa grant that helped build the auditorium. And so we have been slowly moving shifting our things into becoming more diverse. So we are trying to offer a wider variety of genres of performing arts. We are doing comedy improv, we're doing bluegrass music, we're doing pianist classical music, and so our goal is to bring those to Washington so that the community can be exposed to a wide variety.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think they've done a really good job of bringing kind of a variety of things to town, kind of something for everybody, has kind of seemed like. So do you yourself play an instrument in this band that's performing this weekend or not?
I'm sorry, I do not.
Okay.
Sorry,
okay.
Bob.
That's okay. That's okay.
It's not that he hasn't been asked.
Is this a sore subject? I'm sorry to bring it up.
No.
Well, I play in a symphony orchestra on another side of the state. So.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
But anyway, so
Okay.
I do play trombone and piano.
Okay.
And I own a banjo.
All right.
But that's as far as I'm going.
Okay, very good. Well, thanks for joining us today on the show. Bob, do you want to give us a little
Sure.
background on you?
I grew up in the Washington area, and I went to school out on the East Coast for my master's. I taught a year abroad. I taught music in Israel for a year, and then moved back and started farming and playing. And Iowa Wesleyan was looking for a conductor for a band, and I didn't have really an experience at that point, but I agreed to do the job for a year for no salary, which I felt I was worth that anyway, and have grown into it, and I've done it since 1982. I think I was off for about 8 to 10 years. I really can't remember when our kids were just, we were too busy with them. The band is really a wonderful ensemble. We're happy to be asked to come. A lot of the people associated with arts in Washington come to our concerts, have come to them in Mount Pleasant in particular. Now, with the closing of Iowa Wesleyan, we're kind of at a watershed on keeping both the band and the orchestra operating as important outlets for musicians that live in our area, the state. One of the things I say to people about these ensembles is it gives, like, you know, in each community, you might have a municipal band if you're lucky, which Washington and Burlington are, and Mount Pleasant has a community band. But you need players for funerals, for weddings, for entertainment event. And the orchestra and the band provide them larger ensembles at a higher, a pretty high level of quality as an outlet. So it helps keep players that, some people can move, other people can't move. Just depends on their life. But we're an attraction for people. I mean, I hear from a lot of people that do have to move because of jobs, and they're really sorry. They just said, I don't have anything to play in like this. So we're happy to come in with the band. I want to tell people a little bit about how we present the concerts. So I think of musical concerts I think of them in terms of architecture. You really can't have everything be the same. You've got some pieces of one type and another, and you're mixing and matching things for both interest and difficulty. So we rehearse on Sunday nights, and we'll typically have 5 or 6 rehearsals of 2.5 hours. Our players are driving anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour and a half to get to those. So we don't want to waste people's time. We don't really practice in our rehearsals. They have to practice outside because the music's usually too difficult to just, we don't have enough time to prepare it. So we put together a variety of things, and then when I present the concerts, I talk to the people about each particular piece, why it's on the program. If there's something particularly interesting, we do a quick demonstration for them and show them. We talk about, how's an orchestra different than a band? Why is this band, why does it sound good? Why would it sound bad? And we can demonstrate bad playing very easily. It's a very interesting thing. So we try to keep it's not just a concert. We really want to make it an interactive event for people that they feel like they've kind of learned something. It's not that it's an educational event. It's just should be interesting because it's entertainment.
Yeah, very good. Very good intro and explanation of the band. You said you have people coming from 10 minutes to an hour and a half away. How do people learn about your band? Is it just word of mouth, and do people try out?
So people do learn about it primarily word of mouth, or we learn about them.
Yeah.
Or like Doug plays over in Ottumwa, and if he hears somebody that he knows lives in our area, he might email me or text me. Recently on Facebook, I saw a woman from Washington. She made an interesting comment on a musician's post, and I just clicked on her link, and I'm like, dang, she lives in Washington.
Yeah.
And she's a violist in Orchestra Iowa, which means she's a very good player. And so I contacted her, just messaged her and said, hey, I saw you're living in Washington. And we messaged back and forth. Well, our son's a 7th grade tuba player. And I said, hey, do you want to use my tickets for next Sunday? My band's playing, and your son would really enjoy it. So they're going to come. So that's kind of how you make contact.
Yeah,
but honestly, I'll do anything. I'll bribery, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
It's you have to have X number of good players. And usually we rely on kind of a self-selection process. I occasionally just tell people if I see they're really struggling, I'm just like, we talk about it. And usually people don't quit. I just tell them, you're not able to quite play this literature, but as long as you can play and not interfere with it, like the doctor, the do no harm thing, I'm fine with it. And that's a lot of what musicians have to understand too. Like, I played professionally 26 years in the Quad City Symphony, and you just have to figure out when something gets beyond your ability, how do you fake your way through it and get through it? Because not everybody's a studio musician, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Very good.
You're getting the inside story here.
Yeah, I know. I love it. I'm like, is this too much information for everybody to know? No,
Right.
This is great. So the concert is March 3rd, so this weekend at 3:30, and it sounds like one of few times to actually hear the band play, and it sounds like it's a great band. So what's the cost, and why should people come out and listen this weekend?
So for the members of the Concert Association, or whatever you guys call it now, it's free.
Yes.
You know, they buy a package, and the interesting thing is it's free for people that belong to the associations in Fairfield, Centerville,
Yes.
Keokuk. So a lot of I went to the concert with. What was it called? Wartburg's College.
Yes. Yeah.
A week ago, and there were people there from a wide area.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's free for those people, $20 for other adults that want to come, $10 for college students, and then students are free. Yeah.
Awesome.
Right,
Very
and
good.
one of the other things that we're doing as the organization is we find that there's a lot more interest if we have some sort of local connection.
Mm-hmm.
So we are bringing in acts and events that feature the people that you know in town.
Yeah.
And we all know him.
Yeah.
Well, most of us do.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you're a likable person. So not only do they know you, but they might
Do
like you.
you want to
and
expand
then-
on that, Doug?
and then want to come check it out.
I think,
Some people
No.
like me. That's fair to say.
and that would be me.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah.
very good. And then what can people expect when they come to the show? The length of the show? How many? You said maybe five.
So
5 songs.
So it'll be in 2 halves. And the other thing I should mention that I recently started doing was using some guest conductors. So a lot of our band directors never have a chance to direct like a college level ensemble or something, which I think we're comparable to. And so we have the Keokuk High School band director. He's doing one piece on this program, a piece by William Grant Still, one of the best known African-American American composers. And then Jilly Cook is working to get into the graduate program at the University of Iowa conducting. So she plays normally in our percussion section. She's conducting a work, and he plays in our horn section, and he's conducting a work. So the first half, I can give you an idea of the mixture of the type of piece. I mean, most Americans know the music of John Williams, and they certainly know the Raiders March from Indiana Jones. I think even kids know that, right?
Oh,
They
yeah.
still know that. Yeah. So we're actually going to open the concert with that piece and do some demonstrations right off the bat of how a band can sound good and bad, and how a band is different from an orchestra. That'll go pretty quickly. Then we do the William Grant Still. Then we're actually doing a world premiere of a flute concerto. I forget how much there is on this concert. This is crazy. One of my principal flute in the Southeast Iowa Symphony has played in the band with me, and she knows kind of the level. So she and some other flute players went together and hired this really well-known American composer that lives in New Orleans to write a concerto. So a concerto, the soloist stands up in front of the group and is accompanied by the group. And so she's soloing on a flute concerto based on historical events and people associated with New Orleans. It's 5 movements, about 15-minute work. And very interesting sounds. I mean, one movement is kind of based on the pirate history of New Orleans. The other is like voodoo magic and some of these things. So that's a chunk of it. And then we end the first half with a kind of jazz. I think of Henry Mancini, absolutely. This piece, I bought it on Facebook for $35. Just crazy. But I'd heard this guy, he's a retired horn player from the University of Iowa, Jeffrey Agrell, and some of my friends said, you know, he's an amazing jazz player, and you never hear a jazz horn player. And I listened to a clip, and then I saw he's selling stuff, and it was cheap, and I bought it. And we just read it, and the band was instantly like, let's play this. This is cool. It's so unusual. Then in the second half, we open with John Williams again, but his Rose Bowl version of the Star Spangled Banner, which is just really cool. That's all I can say on a PG-rated program. It is really cool music. And then Jilly Cook, our other conducting fellow for the symphony, she does for Shaker tunes. Shaker is a religious sect based in Pennsylvania. And then we're doing probably the most, I'd say the number one piece ever written for band literature, Lincolnshire Posy by Percy Granger. They've done polls for 50 years, and this is the top rated piece. And it's got some really unusual, kind of weird stuff, but it's just so appealing. And then we end the concert with an arrangement of music from Encanto, which is just really charming and fun.
Yeah, awesome. Wow, it sounds like a packed afternoon.
It's too much music, honestly. But it'll be fun.
Bring your lunch.
Yeah, bring your lunch. It'll be fun and move by quickly.
Sounds awesome. Very good. Well, let's head to commercial break, and then I'll wrap up here with Bob and Doug.
In the heart of rural Iowa, where community matters most, the connections we make are made to last. Meet KCTC, your hometown internet, phone, and TV provider. At KCTC, we're not just about technology, we're about people. Our dedicated team are your neighbors, committed to bringing you top-tier services right where you live. We believe in giving back to the community that raised us. Experience the power of a real connection with KCTC. Join us in building a stronger, more connected Southeast Iowa.
Welcome back to Washington Live, powered by KCTC. I'm your host, Diana Rich, and I'm joined in the studio with Bob McConnell and Doug McBride, and we've been talking about the event happening this weekend. The Southeast Iowa Band is performing at the Washington Area Performing Arts and Event Center. I was afraid I was going to say it wrong there, but sounds like an awesome event happening at 3:30 this weekend. Sounds like a full event. Tell me a little bit about, you guys, you mentioned earlier that you practice down in Mount Pleasant, but I know Iowa Wesleyan closed. So how does that affect your band?
So we had been rehearsing at the chapel, but the chapel auditorium is actually closed now for some structural repairs in the ceiling. So we've been rehearsing with at the Mount Pleasant Middle School.
Okay.
We had offers from a couple of different schools to work there. We're kind of used to using Mount Pleasant as a central location because we're drawing players from a radius, so we don't want to change how much time people have to spend in a car.
Yeah.
I'd say going to the west, we're drawing players from Oskaloosa, Ottumwa. The east, Burlington is about it, and Fort Madison, Keokuk. Then occasionally a player or two from Muscatine or the Quad Cities, and then quite a few, Washington, Columbus Junction, Wayland, New London, Iowa City. That's pretty much the mix. For the people this weekend that are local, Virginia Boardwell has played with us for years. Tom McNamara, that directs the municipal band in Washington, plays with us. Don Hughes, the high school band director. Jeremiah Carter is a graduate of Iowa Wesleyan from Washington. He's teaching here now. Hannah Ball teaches in Fairfield but lives in Washington. Jay Houndstein lives in Columbus Junction. Gannon Holiday lives in Columbus Junction. So, it's just a mixture of people from communities that, going back to what I said before, they wouldn't have a group most of us wouldn't have a group like this to work with or to play in.
Yeah. And you said that it sounds like very supportive community, wanting to make it work so you guys can practice there and continue to continue to perform.
Yeah,
so
the Mount
great.
Pleasant School District has been really supportive. We've been in talks with their superintendent and head maintenance and their attorney, and we're basically going to try to figure out how to carry that forward in those facilities. A lot of the money and effort that went into renovating the chapel came from symphony and band backers. So we're really happy and they're happy to see it continue in that use. We have storage space there. People never see that side of these ensembles. Like, it'd be a massive wall of music for both the orchestra and the band that you have to have. You accumulate this stuff. It's probably at this point tens of thousands of dollars of music. Mm-hmm. And then we've got extra instruments that players sometimes can't own themselves. It's a complicated business. We receive a lot of support from the area, but we always have to just continue to work on that. We've started to build the endowment for the orchestra to make us more sustainable long term, and the band, we're really just beginning those efforts. So the band is operating now in kind of an informal relationship with the Southeast Iowa Symphony. We probably will incorporate as a 501c3, but stay under the orchestra's umbrella. So, for instance, we send out email announcements and music announcements and over the orchestra's emails. So that's kind of our booster. And the orchestra was promoting this concert too. So it's a lot of symbiotic relationships.
Very good. Then when you play places like this weekend, do you guys get paid or?
So the band doesn't get paid. Well, yeah, we get paid to come in as a group, but we don't pay individual musicians other than hired extras. We buy music, we rent music, we pay equipment rental, we do some of those things. And if we have players that have exorbitant mileage fees, we help them out with that. Mm-hmm. With the orchestra, it's more, there's a scale of pay, depending on whether they're playing as a community member or a hired extra, and we pay some mileage. And we have more resources associated with the orchestra.
Okay. Very good. Well, you were talking off air that, if we were comparing to, someone who's familiar with sports, that this is, like seeing a single or a double A baseball team play. So it sounds like a really high level performing band that people have the opportunity to see here in Washington at the lovely Performing Arts and Events Center. So that sounds like a great event. Yeah,
it's using Don Hughes as an example, the director of the Washington High School. I can tell you from personal experience, Don would not be able to play at the high level he is unless he has these groups, because everybody needs things to push them. Like if you're a baseball player and you're done playing, then you're not going to play. You're going to coach or do something else. It's tough to maintain your skills. So that's part of our mission, is providing performing opportunities for players. That's actually part of our mission statement, is providing performing opportunities and providing listening opportunities.
Yeah, that's great. Very good.
And I think if people were to come out to this, one of the things that I really like about Bob and what he does is that it's always a surprise. It's always a unique experience in one way or another.
Right.
Well,
yeah, but anyway, so I would hope that people would come out just to sample it. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of our mission is come out and sample some new things, some arts things, and you might be surprised.
Awesome.
I think when he says surprised, so my wife plays in the groups. She gets very nervous because she doesn't know what I'm going to say when I introduce things. But I tell her, I don't know what I'm going to say either. I don't like to prepare remarks. I just jot a couple of things that I think this is interesting. So I grew up in a really musical family. Like we have, out of my mom's side of the family, we had either 40 music degrees or performing musicians. So when we have 3-year family reunions, we can always play and sing and do a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I treat these concerts like a family event where I'm talking to people a little bit about them. I don't like them to turn the house lights down because I like to see if people are falling asleep and I can call them out and that sort of thing. But you're actually reacting with people. It's not just you up there on the stage.
Yeah. Very good.
Well, and I want to make sure you know that I said surprised and not shocked.
Yeah. Well, it can be shocking too. It's just, okay. You never know.
He spent a lot of time picking out that word. And
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like a really neat event. Sounds like a lot of thought and effort goes into it. You guys practice, put on an awesome event. So very good. Any final words?
They all come up and give it a try.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, make sure to check out the Southeast Iowa Band at the Washington Area Performing Arts Center this Sunday, the 3rd, starting at 3:30. You can buy tickets at the door, or you can buy them online ahead of time. And then, of course, if you're a member of the Washington Area Performing Arts and Events Center, is that what it's called? If you're a member of them?
It's called the I would have to look that up because
Yeah.
when we combine
Yeah.
Washington Performing Arts Series.
They'll know if they're
Yes.
a member or if
Well,
they purchased a membership. Yes.
right.
Very good. Yeah. So make sure to check that out. And it sounds like there's lots of teachers that are part of the band. Hopefully that they're offering extra credit to their students for coming out because they'll get them for free, right? Students are free?
Yep.
Yes, K-12
right.
students are for free.
Very good. So make sure to check that out. Alex, you got any final notes?
That's all I think.
All right. Do you play any instruments?
I do not.
You're not musically inclined?
No.
I know, neither am I. My whole family was musically inclined and not me. I did not get that. But everybody else is really good at it. So you win some, you lose some, right?
Yep.
All right. We hope you have a great day. Thanks for joining us on Washington Live.